Welcome back to another episode of Just a Thought. Woo woo! Intro music here. Today's episode, we are talking about the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series, The Traitor Queen by Danielle Jensen.
Yes.
Okay. Before we start, like always, I have to say that this podcast is 100% spoilery. So if you haven't read the books, then you do not want to listen to this podcast because the entire time we are going to be spoiling the entire book for you. So
as thoroughly as we can.
Yeah, go read the book and then come back and listen to this. Our thoughts and everything about this book. Okay, do you want to take it away?
Sure thing. So first off, I feel like it has to be mentioned that in our last episode with the Bridge Kingdom, Corrine gave it a 5 out of 5 stars.
5 out of 5.
And that is not that is not where I felt. That's not how I felt, rather, about it. But I do really love Traitor Queen. Like, of the two, it's absolutely my favorite, I think. I don't know. I think maybe because of how many different settings we moved through and like all the different politics stuff and like new character introduction, I think I found that more exciting. And it wasn't like all the same trials and tribulations every time, you know? Like,
yeah,
when they were in mid-watch, it was always like, oh, someone's doing a raid. We're going to go fight them on the beach and basically die. Whereas, like, this one is like, we'll die in a bunch of different places instead.
You know what? Oh, I do have to agree that the second book had more of, like, I don't want to say character development, but you really got to travel with the character a lot lot more in the second book than you did in the first book.
Right.
Like, them being a person, basically, like, trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah, because the scene was set already. And that's always the reason, like, that's basically always the reason that I prefer a second book, especially in a trilogy. It's usually the second book that's the strongest in my opinion. And it's because like the plot hasn't gotten tired yet. And we're the worlds and the characters are like well established. Like everyone in the team that was a part of writing and editing this book knows where we are now. And so I did definitely prefer this one over Bridge Kingdom. But man, let's just dive right in. So
yes.
Even like right from the beginning, I was just like, I was so happy and simultaneously devastated at Lara's dedication to Aren. Like,
oh, okay. I thought you were just meaning like happy in general about the book. I'm like, how on earth?
So happy
going into this book.
Aren was in prison. she was drinking herself into a stupor. It was
just a happy time.
No.
But no, I get what you mean. I think at first, I didn't really know what I wanted at the beginning of this book. Because the way that the first book ended, it was kind of just like, it kind of left you open. Because it's like, she left, but you don't know, like,
what's going to happen.
That was it.
She's going to come back.
Hell? Yeah. I was like, what does that mean? Where is she at? What is she doing? It opens with the book of her, like, drinking herself, like, drinking her sorrows away. Fucking Aren being kidnapped. Like, of course.
Yeah. That wasn't a surprise. Like, you just knew he had to be a captive in that situation.
Yeah, but the way they did it, though, I love the way that they did it. So, how did she even find out that he was... It was just like word of mouth, right? At a tavern that she heard about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Now that shit's not gonna go down with me. And she goes back to freaking...
Yeah.
She's like,
let me go to Ithaca
before in my life. Let's just go ahead and try and make it across the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that her nickname was the little cockroach, though. Like, I love that was something that we got to, like... Yeah, we got to fall back on that a few times where it was like, for whatever reason, this bitch keeps living.
Doesn't die.
And I love that.
You can hit her as many times as you want. This bitch is gonna bounce right back.
You can drown this bitch in shark-infested waters, and she will live. Yeah.
At first, but I loved how, like, at first it was kind of like an insult at first. Like,
yeah,
her master or the guy that trained her or whatever basically used it as an insult. But as
she
the
just
book went
owned it.
on, owned it. And it was just like, yes, bitch. And even at one point, I think she was even like,
she used it as like her mantra a couple times. Yeah.
They don't call me the little cockroach for nothing. I'm like, bitch.
Literally, when she's sailing, I think it was when she was sailing from Ithacana to Meridrina, like they talked about that, how it was just like a horrible storm. There was no reason for her to have lived, but she was like, I'm the little cockroach, I can do this. And that is how she survived. Like, yeah. Like, don't fucking tempt me, God, okay?
So when she showed up and like she had to go to Anna and the fucking grandma, oh my god.
That grandma.
And she had to go to no, they held her. And like,
yeah. They imprisoned her for a short period of time. I loved that though. Like, I loved that, like, she came in and made this like beautiful speech that in any other book in the YA trope would have been like, oh, she won them over. And they were like, nah, your bitch is going into prison. Like, we'll talk about this, but not with you. I love that.
And it was all Anna, which Anna in this book was very badass. Like, I kind of felt for her in this book only because like her brother got captured. So now it all lies on her to make the decisions and save these people from the freaking attacks on them and like trying to just keep it together.
Yeah.
And then Laura walks in, she's like, I'm going to save your brother. Let's just do this. And Anna at that point was like, honestly, let's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
What else is going to fucking happen?
Right.
Like, if you can save them, go for it. I've got all these fucking people to
feed.
To look after.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's talk about Aren's imprisonment, though. What a wild ride.
Oh, my God. It broke my heart every time.
It broke my heart, too.
It was his chapters, like, in his point of view of him being imprisoned. And Lord. What was the guy's name? What was his name? The guy that... It was the same advisor? Guy that trained her. Yeah. His name. It was something.
It's a very important name, but I don't have it.
Did somebody kill him? Or do we not know?
I don't think he died.
Oh, the little bitch.
I don't think he was one of the ones that would have gone into battle.
The fact that they didn't touch him, like they didn't beat him, they didn't torture him in any physical way.
Just kept him in manacles.
All fucking mental abuse. I loved that she did that because in so many like torture situations that we read about or even watch in movies, it's strictly like we're gonna beat you to death to tell us.
And that's where the mental stuff comes from. Yeah. But this one was all just like, we can't actually physically harm you.
Yeah.
But we're gonna torture all your people because that's gonna matter to you more. Like, whew.
Yeah. In the first so when he starts talking about how he's going to basically use Laura against Aren. And the fact that Aren even says, like, he's just like, go ahead, do it. She means nothing to me.
Yeah.
But then they bring in they bring in Laura. Like, this girl who's just covered. And then they start burning her feet. Didn't they start burning her feet?
They started what's it called? Branding her. They like had stuff that they put into a fire and like branded her with hot metal.
And Aren just freaks out.
Lost his damn mind.
And I'm just like, it gave me a little bit of hope because I'm like, he does care for her. Like,
he did as well. My God. Everything he was saying inside was to convince his own self. And like, we all knew that was bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was genius. I don't know. I never read anything like that before. Like about like that kind of torture.
Yeah. I thought it was really I mean, I don't know anything about kings and queens in reality. Everything that I know is just from reading or whatever, but it felt very much like how political torture would have been done, that they wouldn't have physically tortured the like actual figure, because then there could have been like full on wars.
Yeah. I think that's what I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that he is the king of that kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, he's the king. I keep
king.
forgetting that.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, I'm like, oh, he's just a little boy. Like, he's just, doing his own thing. And I'm like, oh shit, wait, he's the king.
He's the full-ass king. Yeah.
Full-ass king.
Yeah. Oh my god. I had so many issues with the ruling peoples in this world. Like that Valcotton Empress.
Uh-huh.
What a jerk. She was the worst. And I'm not talking about the heir to the Valcotton throne or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
the actual queen.
She was such a dick. Sorry, did you feel that eye roll through the screen?
Yes,
Is that what you're just laughing at?
But no, I agree. I didn't really have much to say about her other than, like, she's such a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
She did say that she wanted Laura dead in order to help him.
Yeah. No, she fully said that, like, she, like, because, like, Maradrina is, like, the sworn enemy or whatever. And, and Lara was the figurehead for that. And she was, like, not going to give any amount of help unless he killed her, and she knew that he wouldn't agree to that. And I was like, what a dick. Like, what a jerk move.
What's her face came in clutch.
Yeah, that's true.
What was her name?
I couldn't possibly tell you. Apparently, it doesn't matter how recently I've read these books. I will just not know anyone's names 2 days after finishing.
Was it Zara?
That sounds right.
I don't remember.
Zarrah.
Yeah. So, okay, so
A+.
The whole time that Aren is getting tortured.
Yeah.
Laura is like, okay, let's get the band back together. She's like, let's go find my sisters, because it's the only way that they're going to get in and accomplish freeing him. Because apparently it's like impenetrable, and like once you get in you can't get out, or if you even get in then you can't get out and stuff like that. So I was like,
wild. Yeah
And the fact that they kept talking about that was like a big thing, like, you can't enter this,
a huge thing,
get out. And I'm like,
was foiled pretty easily,
easily,
especially considering
it took 12 of them
that had never been in there before. Like, it's
not like that is true.
It's not like they had any insider knowledge. Like, the fact that there was that many of them could easily have just been more of a hindrance than anything. But I did, like, weep. I was so excited when they came in and were doing, like, the dance and everything.
Oh, I was so excited too. Okay, but wait, before we even get to that, them getting together. So it took her weeks to find 3 of her sisters. All the while, Aren's being tortured and mentally abused. Like, he went through some shit. I mean, not as much shit as she did, but because she had years and years of torture with that guy.
Yes.
Whatever.
And the thing that pissed me off so bad about, like, what was running tangent or simultaneously with her finding her sisters, I was so mad that his people were so stupid and arrogant to just be like, hey, we haven't seen anyone that's gone in there, but this one's going to be the one to get it. It's like, let's just keep slaughtering them for fun. Like,
he even said, like, Aren even said at one point, he was like, why do they keep sending fucking people here? Like, what?
Yeah.
It would be smart not to. Like,
absolute insanity.
It's not like he's going to be like, I'm losing hope. My people aren't coming for me. It's like, he is a strong man. He's gonna not want them to come for him because they're getting killed.
And also, Jor was a part of the plan. Jor knew that she was looking for her sisters. And he was like, no, we're gonna keep sending them. I basically want them dead. Like, ridiculous.
So let's just fuck with them a little bit more.
The sisters, you were saying.
The sisters. So when Laura finally finds the village that she suspects that her sisters... Oh, and the fact that she was just, like, waiting, and she was like, my sisters are going to come to me. If they know that I'm looking for them, they're going to come to me. And when she sees her sister for the first time, and she's pregnant...
Yes!
I was like, no, oh my God. I was like, okay, but wait, how is this going to turn out? And Laura even was, like, going to walk away.
Yeah.
But then her two other sisters who were there with the other sister was like,
yeah, I love
her,
that.
and I was just like, yay.
Yeah, that was special.
I
loved that sister so much.
Me too. Love her to death.
I loved how like Lara, at one point they were talking things through, and she was like, I can't ask you to do this, you should stay home. And or she like hinted at her somehow being slightly inferior now that she's pregnant or whatever, and her sister like kicked her chair out from under her under the table. I was like, yes, bitch. I was like, that's the kind of pregnant lady
I may be pregnant, but I can still kick your ass.
Yes. Oh, I was so here
for
her
husband was deaf.
And
I was just like, oh my God.
I loved their relationship so much.
To him, but they didn't do that. So I was just like, oh, you could just read lips, I guess. Like, is that how you guys
oh, this is how we talk? Yeah.
She didn't sign it all to him, so.
She absolutely has had the time as well to learn.
And the fact that he knew everything going on, like the sister told him everything. And he was willing to let her go do her thing, but at the same time, I mean, he's a still loving, caring husband with a child on the way. Yeah. But the fact that he let her choose to do that. And that was the whole big thing in the first book too, that Aren was like, you can choose to like stay here or whatever. Like, I'm not holding you back. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I just love how women have to write that in their books. Like, you get choice and da-da-da. And I'm like,
what a privilege.
Such dicks that they're like holding their wives captive from life.
I know.
That's a big thing for me.
I feel like it's definitely a really, like, until we fix that in society, I definitely want to keep seeing it written.
Yeah. It's just like,
there's enough that are awful. Like, there's enough awful situations.
And I guess in these books, the authors are trying to show that like there are
the worst case scenario as well.
Yeah. So when she finally gets her three sisters, and they were all like, they were telling her about the sister that she killed, Marilyn. Is that what her name was? And about how I really thought that I'm so disappointed by Marilyn, because I really thought that she was gonna like be more
tougher.
Yeah. And it was just like, no, she was just like not spoiled, but she was like a little bitch. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She's like a little brat. Like,
she was a brat. And like evil. Like, she's like, you didn't think that I knew you were all going to be killed? You didn't think, like, you thought I would care that everyone was going to be...
She says all this, but the way the sisters, like, kind of told Laura, she was like, oh yeah, we just woke up one morning, she was gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's it? No, like, battle, or no, she's just gone.
Like, I mean, hopefully she would understand. Like, I feel like that was probably just a tactical thing. Like, Marilyn would have understood that when she was against 10 of her sisters.
Oh, yeah.
That were, like, born and bred assassins, that she wouldn't have won against all 10 of them. So I think disappearing is probably smarter.
So then they're on their way to, I guess, go and try and free Aren. But the fact that they met up with Jor, and then the fucking grandma again was there.
That grandma's everywhere. Like, she's very well traveled. Yeah.
But the whole freeing him working with the woman,
the harem wife. Yeah.
Yes.
The inherited harem wife. Yeah.
And then her working with Laura and the grandma.
Yeah.
And Aren not knowing that that's who she was working with.
I know, there were so many crosses. Yeah.
So many. And it was just like, but I mean, Laura knew that Aren was talking to the...
Yeah. That was also, like, I felt like that part might have been a bit rushed for me, because I didn't see how, like, I understand wanting to unfold the plot for your reader, like, in a kind of surprising way, but I still felt like we should have been a little bit more part of that process, because, like, as it was happening, it just seemed very convenient the way certain things were happening. Like, let's talk about that, like, crossbow gun zipline thing that was just in a portrait hung up in the castle. But, like, we're just going to install this now. It looks like it's made all out of metal, but that's fine. Like, I don't know.
Like, who put that there? Like, what? Where did this come from? Wasn't her brother in on the plan too? Didn't he start it all?
Yes.
he didn't start it, but he gave Aren the idea, basically.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't
yeah,
that what it was?
He started off the idea of their like open communication with that book on the table, which I still feel like that clue was not good enough. I wanted there to be something like written in the book about the advisor or something, but it was just like, nope, his name means that he's a piece of shit too. You know, like it wasn't anything like other than that. And I was like, come on, man, you're cooler than this. We could have had more information here.
But what was he cool? Because the whole point of the whole rescue mission was not for Aren. It was
it was for the Velcotton heir.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
To Laura's brother. That's what the purpose of this was.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck you. I don't really care about you, but you're my escape route for my girl.
So. Yeah.
And when it all went down, when she sat down by Aren, and wasn't she talking about how the wives were getting ready for a dance or whatever? Wasn't she telling him that?
I think so.
She was like hinting to him, like, I can't remember exactly how that conversation went between him and her before the girls came.
So you're talking about the old wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she kind of just was like hinting at like, make sure to watch or something. And he was expecting like a huge like kerfuffle and like a big bang out in the hallway and everything. And then he started like having like lesser hopes or whatever. But like, it was so cool because that none of the wives were in there, that like the harem wife made sure that everyone was safe and that all the children were safe and everything.
She was a badass.
She was an absolute badass. But wouldn't you like that is the kind of woman I would hope that I could be if I was given that horrible plot, like lot in life.
Yeah.
Like to just be like, I was the wife of this shitty little guy's father and he inherited me. Like, how gross.
Oh. And now she's just trying to do everything she can to basically protect everyone.
Yeah. She was like, like protect the harem. And that is her family. She's never born a child, but that she would do everything for these children because they're all hers as well. And I was just like, that's lovely. She was so
when
cool.
The girls came in and they started dancing around the table and like,
they were such badasses.
Like, you guys are all so perfect.
And Lara was like kicking wine off the table and stuff. I was like, yes.
And then they start, and then the fact that he recognized her. He recognized, not at first, but even with like, because they were like covered, weren't they? Their faces were covered.
Yeah.
I imagined like a belly dancer type of feel.
I basically imagined Jasmine from Aladdin whenever she's what's his face's slave.
Oh yeah, in the red costume
with like the
hot.
The veil and everything.
Yeah, that's what I imagined too.
Yeah.
But the fact that he recognized her,
so cool,
and everything just started clicking in his head. He was like, okay. And then they started to attack, and it was just like,
it was so
cool.
Fun. Because that was what I like needed. Because whenever like I knew as soon as it was set up that there were 12 sisters, even after they killed off the one and one was pregnant, I was like, we're not going to get to know all of these girls' personalities. Like they're going to be sectioned off in groups because for an author to maintain 9 separate personalities as well, like at one time would be way too hard. But what I wanted so badly was to see like them fighting together. Like I needed to see that. I knew it was good. I knew it just had to be like so cool. So that scene really lived up on that one.
I think that scene did, but everything after it was kind of a disappointment to me.
Yeah.
Because like I realize now after you said that, like, the author had no way of giving us like all the girls and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, we just needed the sisters for this escape plan.
Yeah.
And then after it.
And then it was like, bye!
Have fun. I hope you do well. I'll see you in a couple years. Once things have died down, basically.
I mean, I guess the way you can explain that was just that, like, their fight was only with Maradrina and Silas. That was the king's name, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so but yeah, I think
This
they were
whole
kind of
podcast is
consigned.
this.
I
This
know.
is just us going, I think that's his name. What's his name? I think is that how you say it?
We're learning lessons every time, and one of them
Yeah.
for this series was we should have written out an entire character tree so we knew who the fuck we were talking about,
Yeah.
instead of just being like, oh, that guy that did this thing. But
I'm almost like 100% positive that all the listeners are like, oh yeah, that guy. Like,
I feel
they
like
know.
we're describing it.
We all have the language.
Yeah. But I
What
think
were
they
you
all
saying?
were just kind of like consigned to the fact that like Maradrina was their fight, like King Silas was their fight, and that like they weren't gonna go to Ithacana, like that wasn't part of their plan.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I
So I
did
was
like the
okay
fact
with
that,
that.
the sisters
I
that we
definitely
met
thought a sister would
initially.
die though.
I thought so too. She almost did.
Yeah,
The one
she
sister
got shot with like an arrow in her shoulder or something though, like
something, but she like lost a lot of blood from like the ride
and
to
Aren
their
saved
location
her,
and stuff. Yeah,
which was cool. I also just a lot of the times as well, like where these plots fall short for me is how, like, I know they were raised in isolation to be assassins, but they still felt like they were like too close to godlike, and that everyone else was really stupid. Because like when she was leading, like specifically in that section after they had freed him and everything, and they were riding or whatever, and the like Maradrina guards started coming after them, and Lara decided to take them off the other way. She like ripped off a helmet and made sure that her like shining blonde hair was out. If she were actually trying to escape, she would never have done that. So like why would the soldiers have believed anything? That like, oh yeah, they're all with her because she's the blonde one that we can see now. Do you guys see that she's blonde now? And it's just like it was too easy. Like it was underestimating literally everyone else that's not these sisters. And I didn't think that was reasonable, you know?
Yeah, I get that. The little comments that Aren was making to Laura the entire escape, he was just like basically telling her that he didn't want her and that he like her freeing him doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Like I was just like, ooh.
Not
and the whole time she's just like, shut up, let me just save you real quick and then you can bash me afterwards. That's literally what she was doing the entire time.
Yeah. And I think even one of the sisters said it as well. I think the pregnant sister was just like, or no, maybe it wasn't her, but one of the sisters was just like, you can do this after we're done. Like, we don't give a shit.
We're risking our neck for you, bitch.
Yeah, we're getting you out of here, and you have the audacity to bitch about who's saving you? Like, you weren't getting anywhere without us.
But okay, so when they got back to that cave or whatever, their safe spot, and the pregnant sister, like, basically, she came up to Aren and was like, this is my sister. She did this for you. If you're going to be a little bitch about this, like, I'm going to fight you. I
love that. I love her. Yeah. She's so fierce.
I love her too. I really hope that we get to see more of her in, like, the next books or whatever. Because at the end of the book, she has the baby. And she's, like, safe and, like, fine.
Did she oh, I forgot she had the baby.
She did.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So after they left, like, after her and Aren went on their little journey to go visit the bitch queen.
Let's talk about that fucking journey, though. Okay.
Yes.
So them being tracked, like, to Kingdom Come, like, I was blown away by just, I mean, oh my God. How many times does Lara sacrifice herself in this book, you know? Like, to make up for everything.
Yeah, and the whole time he's just being a little bitch boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is understandable because she did ruin his whole kingdom. Like, he got captured because of her. Yeah. Like, his kingdom is starving because of her. So I understand why he is so upset and why he hates her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, poor Laura is having to deal with the guilt of what she did after finally accepting that she loved that kingdom and she loves him so much. And
she thought she had destroyed the evidence. Like, that's the thing. She thought she had, like, managed to fix it all. And it was just as much of a surprise to her as it was to them, you know? Like, that's like, every time I get pissed at one of them, I get pissed at the other, because I'm just like, but you're not seeing both sides.
Yeah. And I think that's what the author did so well, is that she showed each side perfectly, like what the other one was feeling, and like so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to scream at both of them because I was like, you guys.
You guys, yeah. But that desert, like that whole desert trek,
the whole
just
scene
destroyed me. When she went over to him, because he'd obviously never like lived, you know, desert life or whatever. And
it was like her turn
proverbially he was drowning in the sand, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when she went over to him and like tightly wrapped stuff around his face and like covered his eyes and just like committed to the idea that like she was going to go through the sandstorm for the both of them, but like she would blind herself for him, like bitch. Are you kidding me? That got to me.
Yeah. And when they finally got to the place and she like had to haul open the door to throw him in there, like throw them both in there. And she's like, okay,
he
now
was
I
like
have to
dead.
Water.
Yeah. And I had to fucking strain the water. Oh my God.
Yes. Went back out there and got the water. Took her forever to do it because it's a sandstorm.
Strain it. Yeah.
Strain it. Comes back and then they pass out. And it's just like,
and she was like blind for like a solid day.
Yes, like he had to help her because
he boiled the water and then helped her clean it out.
Yeah,
I just loved that.
But at the same time, it was like, okay, yeah, he did care for her. But at the same time, it was like, I need her to get me out of here. So it was like, but I think that was, and then shortly after that, it was the scene that I was talking about with her sitting in her bedroom, opening that box that she had and like taking out the necklace from her mom. Yeah. And that's where she told him about like basically everything that's happened to her. Like she got taken away from her mom and then she had to come here and like the torture that she went through there. And I even said this earlier, that I think that's the moment that he started to understand.
Yeah, started being like less angry.
That she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also met the camel.
Yeah, I love that camel. But one of the things that I like took issue with, I feel like we're just like good cop, bad cop every time that we talk about a book. But one of the things that I took issue with was within that box was the vial of poison that she had like home brewed throughout her life. Like, and that was the one that she drugged her sisters with to like make them pass out or whatever. Like, I'm of two minds.
I forgot about that.
I'm of two minds on it. Because either, I mean, it is super smart if she ever had intentions of trying to escape there. But it also seems really convenient that like she just had a penchant for poison and just decided to like make her own. It was like, you know what? I'll keep this in my special box of items. Like,
but wasn't that her thing though? Like, she was really good at poisons. That was her thing.
I thought she was really good at fighting.
No, because when we were in the first book, when she was looking at all of the ingredients in the grandma's house, and she even said, like, this was my specialty, was, like, the poisons and stuff. And that's why
I remember her saying her specialty was, like, violence, though.
I mean, I feel like all of them, their specialty was probably all violence, but I specifically remember that because she even talked about how she had the bracelet with the drug that she drugged in the beginning.
But that's how all of their people were, right? Like, that's what they claimed the Meridrinian people were always like, though, that they were, like, poison masters.
I could have swore it was just her, though.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, I'm of two minds of it. Like, it seems plausible in the world, but it also seems kind of like a child made this and kept this in their special box.
Yeah. Oh, and then the camel.
The camel.
The fact that Aren didn't know how to ride, like, you know, obviously he doesn't know how to ride a camel. I'm trying to ride the camel.
I love that he got so angry with it. That was so funny.
It was like, but I loved
that.
the idea of him not being good at things, because it was like in the first book, Laura wasn't good at anything.
Yeah.
And she had to adapt and he had to teach her. And now he was on Laura's turf. So now she had to teach him. And like, I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he was on the back foot for things. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then we get to yet another of her sacrifices, where she she like hobbles the camel in a way that it's like kind of crippled and has to walk slower, and ties him to it so that he doesn't fall off, and then goes back to get food from a village. And whenever, I don't know about you, but whenever that was happening, I thought she was just like being a martyr, and she was like, this is where we part ways. He'll make it to the next place if I just like set them up on this path. I didn't know she was getting resources and trying to go back, but I'm glad that that was the case.
I fully knew that she was gonna come back for him, because I'm like, there's no way she's leaving him.
Okay.
Even if he doesn't want her, I was like, no, she loves this guy too much. She's sacrificing everything for him. There's no way that she's just gonna leave him.
Yeah.
But when she went to that town,
yes,
she got caught for stealing.
Yes.
And they put her in that thing. Was it like one of those things?
Like a stockade, right? Where you have your arms, your hands through and your neck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was she completely naked?
Yeah.
Completely naked.
Yeah.
The fact that, okay, that's what I thought. But
horrible.
The whole time that she's like, stuck there, she's getting this really bad sunburn.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how it's like all over her body and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are we just going to fly past the part where you're completely naked for everyone to see? And she's just like,
yeah. We did kind of breeze past that. We did kind of breeze past the whole like entirely nude
Why make her
part.
Completely naked? Why not just like leave her in bra and underwear? You still get the same sunburn.
I think they were. I mean, I think it's the added humiliation, because like it's they take thieving very, very seriously, but it was because like they wanted to see her like rot basically in the sun. Which, how horrific is that?
She was there for hours.
I know. Whenever she
day.
I think it was close to a day. Yeah, because he came back in the evening for her after he had like killed those others. But yeah, whenever she described like burying herself up to her thighs in the sand, and like positioning her body so there was only like her back and presumably her ass that got burned.
Yeah.
But oh my god, like me, like fair-skinned ginger, I thought of that and I was like, I actually like just got skin cancer from reading this. Like I actually would not have lived after that scene. But
and the whole time she's like, Aren came to the town because she was gone forever. So he was like, when you said earlier, like when he told the camel, like, let's go get my wife.
Yes! Oh my god. I loved that moment. Oh, I loved that moment when he finally called her his wife again, because I was like, it's gonna happen soon. And I love that he said it to the camel first. I think that's so funny.
Yeah. So when he comes into the town and he sees her, obviously, and then he goes like, pretends to be like some guy, and then like basically ignores her while she's like sitting in that thing completely naked.
I feel like he was letting her have that penance a bit. Like he was just like,
I mean,
what, you kind of deserve it.
He basically, like, she was basically saying, like, let's go steal stuff or kill people to get supplies. And he's just like, no, why don't we just fucking buy it? She's like, nope, let's go kill people and steal it. And when she gets caught, he's just like, you gotta enjoy that. Let's like, told you. Why not just buy the fucking shit?
Yeah.
So,
oh man, I love when she like weaseled herself out of the sand as well and like flopped herself over.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that part was really funny, where I was like, I love how like not graceful that was. Like she fully could have snapped her own neck. Like she could have died. But besides that, it was really funny.
The whole time she's again completely naked.
Yeah.
Like just imagine
stark naked. Yeah.
But what I was gonna say was like the whole time she literally thought that he was gonna leave her.
Which is insane. Like what a fool to think that he would ever leave her in that situation.
Didn't he even say that too? Like she was like, he said something along the lines of, "Did you think I was gonna leave you?"
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, I did." Why wouldn't I? The shit that we've been through.
Yeah, I guess that's the guilty conscience speaking more than his actions there.
Yeah. So then we go to the queen.
Where she's a real jerk.
And I thought it was cute. Like I said, I think Aren's kind of view on Laura and like starting to forgive her for what she did really started in the bedroom when she was like explaining everything that's happened to her. And I think he kind of caught on to the concept of, okay, she really thought this way of my people and like me, and there was no changing that until he finally showed her proof, you know?
Yeah.
And then I don't know, just her trying to explain to him that she didn't mean for any of it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I suppose when she was so convincing of a liar and a spy in the first place, it would be real hard to overcome those trust issues after your kingdom was literally brought to ashes.
Right.
That'd be a hard switch to turn, even if you did love someone.
And the fact that he started trying, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like everything that was presented to him, he was like, it's kind of hard not to love my wife.
Yeah.
Which I get. But I also get why he was so mad. And I get why she's obviously so so holds all that guilt.
Yeah.
So then what happened after that? They went back to...
They say the Valcotton lady, the heir, agreed to help them, and they sailed back to Ithaca.
Zara or whatever.
Zara, yes.
Yeah, so basically the queen says, you gotta kill your wife. And he was like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Non-negotiable, sorry.
Steps in, and she was like, I want a better world. Also, I'm working with your brother.
No big deal. We're basically going to be besties-in-law. Don't worry.
But the way she was talking about it, it kind of seemed like she didn't want I don't want to say didn't want anything to do with Laura's brother. What was his name?
Karis, I think?
Karis. That's what it was.
Okay. I was like, did I just make that up?
Karis. I did not know how to feel about her way of feeling about him. Like,
they're absolutely together.
Yeah, but she like wouldn't.
Of course she wouldn't.
About it.
They're like they're enemy empires.
It made me think though, like maybe she does have feelings for him, but I don't know.
I feel like she's just like super independent and is also like rightfully the heir. Like, because in Valcata, they made the really important distinction that the heir is passed to the person that is the most deserving, not the person in the bloodline. Whereas Karis is just like going to be handed the kingdom regardless.
Yep.
And so I feel like just probably being born that way or being raised that way and having earned her spot as like commander and now heir to Valcata, I feel like she probably just would be that kind of hard and guarded about her intentions, and especially her love with like a person that is the ruling opposing empire. Yeah.
But them wanting the same thing, which by the way, that's going to be the next book in the series, is going to be their story.
Do you think you'll read it?
And then I heard that it goes back to them. I want to. I'm very intrigued on what they're doing.
Because it's supposed to be their version of accounts, like their accounts on the same timeline and then moving a bit past it, which I don't know if I want that.
I kind of do, because it's like it's a whole different. Like, just imagine the ending of this whole series, and like, I mean, it's gonna be good, but it's gonna be like all of them ruling their kingdoms in peace. The way
and you get a kingdom, and you get a kingdom. Yeah.
But the fact that she came to them and offered her help because she wants to change.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so cool. We could use a lot more visionaries for sure.
Yeah, and then she was the one that brought them back on her ship. Yeah.
And they took back Southwatch, right?
Yeah, is that where Laura got hurt?
Yes.
When she was trying to save his cousin the girl, because she was kidnapped.
Oh, Taryn?
Like, being held. Taryn, yeah. She was being, like, held.
That was, like, oh, yeah. For some reason in my brain, that's not Southwatch. That happened. But
all the battles.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, but she... Yeah, she jumped... Wait, we're skipping past a very crucial sacrifice again of Lara's.
Oh, shit.
Snake Island, when she agrees to do the run.
Oh, my God, yeah!
I was, like, weeping.
I totally forgot about that.
This bitch is gonna die. There is absolutely no way. Like,
when she did the run, and, like, Aren was, like, yelling at her to go, like, faster. Like, yes! He was screaming at her, like, go faster! Like, oh my God. And when the snake...
It got, like, her... Bite. It got her leg, or her pant leg. Yeah.
Yeah. But the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, did it bite her? Like, did it
I was, like, sure. I was sure it bit her. I was absolutely sure. Too. Yeah. I was like, she's going to lose that damn leg.
You just see her hopping around on one leg, fighting with one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh. And when she finally got to the top, there were men at the top too that she had to fight.
There were men at the top that they couldn't see, and they just heard her fighting. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? Is she going to die? Is she just going to throw over the rope and they're going to, like, climb up and find her dead body?
Yeah. But I was like, she was bitten. she's going to be dying or doing something on the bridge, like convulsing or something. But no, she's not fine, but she
I was
survived.
Absolutely shocked that the bite didn't sink in. But she's a little cockroach.
Yep. But so then after that was that when they went to the battle?
I believe so, yeah.
Taryn saving Taryn.
Sneaking. Sorry. But they were sneaking up to get her, like, infiltrate from behind, basically.
Yeah. So
and then that cut on her thigh.
She got that wound on her thigh. Oh. When it was a bad one.
It freaks me out. I still don't know the placement of it. I don't know. How high thigh is it? Because, and this my question is a practical question, because they stitched it up and then they fucked. And I just want to know, because he bent her over the table, that thing would have burst open depending on how high it was on the thigh. And I thought it was, like, along, like, the upper part, like hip thigh area, but maybe it was just, like, mid thigh. I don't know. What did you imagine?
But I was thinking, like, mid thigh.
Okay.
But again, I have no idea. All I know is I was bawling the entire scene of that. Okay, so they get done with the battle and everyone is being stitched up or healed, like they're, like, you know, whatever. And she's watching all of this and she decides not to go to someone to get stitched up or healed. She decides to go to the grandma's house by herself and stitch herself up because, and I have this bookmarked because I just thought it was the saddest thing.
It is so sad.
Just, like, this whole chapter is just so fucking sad.
It is.
She's, like, basically sitting at the table telling herself, like, you can do this. Just
oh my God,
get it done. Chills. And she's, like, talking to herself. And it even says, like, tears poured down her cheeks as she's struggling to, like, put the needle through her leg and, like, get it. And then it says, like, he comes... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, my God. Okay, so then Aren walks in. He finds her sitting there. Like, could you just imagine him walking in on the love of your life, sitting at a table, bawling, trying to, like, stitch themselves up. And he asks, like, why didn't you ask for help? And her quote is, because I don't have the right to ask any of them for anything. And then she goes, it's fine. I can do it. I just need a minute. Oh, my God. I was crying so hard. It's just that one line where she said, it's fine. I can do it. I just need a minute. Yeah. That is something that I tell myself all the fucking time because I don't know why. Maybe it's the way I was raised, but I'm like, I can do it myself. Like, I'm always looking out for myself. I'm like, these people around me don't need, I don't want to be a burden to them. I'll just do it myself, get through it myself. And, like, I don't need to bother them. I don't need to put more worry on them when I can just do it myself. I was just like, I connected with her and, like, with that so hard. So I'm like, I understand why you went to do it by yourself. I understand why you didn't ask for help because of all the shit that, I mean, she even said, like, I don't deserve the help that they give me. And it's just like, oh my God, heartbreaking.
Absolutely heartbreaking, especially given how much she loves those people.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
She loves that kingdom. She is their queen, like, in her heart, even if they don't want to recognize it. Like, she feels that, like, duty bound to them. And, like, oh my God, it was
so much so that
heart-wrenching.
She didn't ask for help. She just did it to go do it by herself because she knows how much pain she's already caused them. She's like, what? Like, no more. Yeah. Oh my God. And then him coming in and being like, and then him kneeling down and like him helping her. It was just kind of like, oh man, that's what she needed.
Yeah.
And then they fucked.
I was very surprised about the fucking, if I'm honest. I was like,
it kind of ruined the whole thing for me.
She could have like died from that blood loss.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been strong with him just like healing her, and maybe they fell asleep together. Like, and you and I, how much have we talked about how we love sex in books? But like, this was a moment where it was like, was it needed? I don't think it wasn't. And especially because I was like, the whole time I was like, this is hot, but I'm really concerned for her wound. Like, I feel like she's gonna bleed out.
Lost so much blood.
So
like,
much
how
blood.
is she even able?
She was like barely able to walk. And she just like got railed. Like,
so, and then, okay, so they had sex, and then they obviously passed out. But before Laura woke up, he decides to leave.
I was furious. I was so mad. I was like, how fucking dare you come in when she is this vulnerable and sleep with her and then be like, no, this was the mistake. I'm leaving you. And it's like, what the fuck? What are you saying? And then like, she just has to be like consoled with the fact that like, she's like, oh, well, at least I got like one last time in bed with him or something. Now I'm just going to go cry myself to sleep and die here. Like, unbelievable.
I was kind of torn in that moment. Like, I was pissed off that they had sex and he just left. But at the same time, I was like, okay, maybe he's leaving because he wants to, I don't fucking know, protect her, maybe? I was looking at it that way. Like,
I mean, you
can't bring her back because they're going to want to kill her. Like, he's going to have to make the decision.
Yeah.
That was like the whole thing. Like, she can't come back because she's going to die, basically, because people are going to want that. They're going to want whatever the word is.
Vengeance.
Yeah, basically. And he was like, I have to do it because it's like, you're the traitor queen. Like, you betrayed everyone. You betrayed your kingdom.
I was so mad about them sleeping together because the moment, you're so right. The moment was so powerful without it.
Yeah.
Like, so powerful. And it could have, because it was so intimate already, you know, that there didn't need to be like a, let's just like fuck this one out of our system.
Yeah. It just felt, it was kind of gross.
It cheapened it.
Why would you do that? Yeah.
Yeah. And I just couldn't stop thinking about the fact that her wound would have been like gaping open after this. Like, she would have been injured. There would have been blood running down her leg. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and they were talking about like how hard they were going at it. Like, it, like repercussion alone would have torn open that wound again. And I was like, I was freaking out the whole time. I was like, she's gonna die.
She's gonna just lose more blood. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally chill.
And did anything else happen after that before the whole final battle? I think it's just straight into the battle, right? Because they left.
They left her. It was the next morning, and she heard that they had, like, you know, won the battles or whatever, but they were like too easy. And then
it was all just a facade.
Because Karis, freaking Karis, we didn't talk about him doing a little double cross, son of a bitch.
You know, I was so disappointed in him. I was like, you finally, your sister, your full
biological sister.
Yeah, is alive, and like, you don't really care about that at all. Like, she was taken away from you. You even said that you remembered the day that she was taken.
Yeah, and your mother was murdered. because of like them trying to be ripped apart, and she was like trying to save her from that. And then he was just like, you know what though, I'm gonna sacrifice her and all her people and the love of her life because my lady could potentially be ruining her name. Like, are you kidding me?
And how much you want to bet in the next books or whatever he's gonna blame Laura for the death of their mother, and it's gonna be like that type of thing. I really think that he's gonna like use that to like, you know.
think so?
I think so. Because
I feel like because he's the smart one that like he wouldn't.
But the entire second book though, when he was like talking about Laura, it just seemed like he didn't care about her.
I think it's kind of he just didn't know her. And he also has learned like being, because he was allowed to be in the world and in life as this prince, that like showing who you cared about is the most dangerous thing that you can do. So
yeah.
I would be surprised and super disappointed if he turned it into a grudge against Lara. I think that would be bullshit.
I think it's, I don't know. But
I could see it happening, but I would hate it.
When they
he bought them time on the beach.
Yeah.
But it was all just like the reason he did the double cross was because he saw that the Valcotton chick like wouldn't have gotten her empire basically if they found out that she had, you know, been plotting against the Valcotton empire.
Which makes you think like he cares about this girl, but at the same time it's like, is it for selfish reasons also, because he needs her to change things between the kingdoms? I don't know. I'm sketchy. Karis is sketchy to me.
I feel like he definitely loves Zara. Because like he didn't have to do the double crossing. If he cared about her, like he didn't have to.
Her.
He did, he does. But I feel like there's a difference between like what you would risk if you love someone and if you just needed them in an alliance.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I feel like that would have been like the kind of dividing line. And he was also like, they even alluded to it a little bit whenever she was ushered in as his prisoner because someone went to touch her and he was like he like threatened and everything. And he was like, you know how I treated the last person that touched my things or something like that. And like she was the priority and everything. Like he definitely loves her. Like they definitely have something. They're just very guarded.
I think this is why I'm going to read the next book because I'm very curious to find out his character because we've seen some stuff from him, but I really want to see who he is and like what his plan is. Like I want to know what he's scheming, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, so then they're getting attacked again, and it's like really bad this time because they're like trying to get through the main gate. The last scene. So Laura hears that they won, but then she hears the distress horns from
Aren.
So she starts running towards the fight to help fight. And the entire time Aren is like at the front gates trying to hold off this fucking army that's coming in through the front gates.
Yeah.
And they're like holding on by a string. It's literally holding on by a gate. Like that's it. Like that's the thing between them and them. But it's when Laura runs up, and how I imagine this scene was I imagine like Anna and all of them being like on the top of like a cliff over the enemy ships and stuff. And Laura runs up to them and she's like, what do we do? Blah, blah, blah. And then she sees like her father's ship. I guess I remember this happening. And she's just like, get me down there and I'll kill the source of all of this. Like as soon as my father is gone, how much you want to bet all these little bitches are going to be departing. And it's like the storm was like almost on them. Like they had to leave then if they wanted to like survive the storm out. But her father was the one that's like, no, we need to get this shit done. Like get in there or whatever.
Yeah. So that whole fight.
Yeah.
I just, again, it was just anticlimactic and implausible. Because like she was on death's door.
Yes.
And was taking on King Silas, who was like a known and revered soldier who was at perfect health. And she somehow managed to vanquish him very quickly, and then
so quickly.
Yeah.
It was just, I wanted so much more for that. Like, I wanted Laura to get something out of that, and I felt like we didn't really get to see or feel.
Yeah, because the whole time she's talking about how much she wants to kill her father.
Yeah,
like, that's her vengeance, that, and like then she can basically die happily.
Yeah.
And like,
and no like epic parting. Well, what was their parting words? I don't even remember.
But obviously it wasn't epic enough.
Killed him. Yeah. Killed him.
I remember her like it's not a swan dive because it wasn't that forceful, but her just like peacefully falling into the water. Like, when that happened, I read that and I was like, this bitch.
What are you gonna? But I so wanted her to have like that moment of like finally killing her father and just like getting, I don't know, like I wanted to know what she was feeling in that moment. Like, I wanted to know if she felt like sad that she was killing her father, or if she felt like relieved that this monster was finally out of her life, or like out of her head, because she was constantly thinking about how like he was going to send people after her and like kill her and stuff. But no, we didn't get that, and it really it was disappointing, honestly.
Yeah, it was just over so soon. Like,
yes.
It was so easy for her to do it when this is like, you know, the epic boss battle that's been built up over the entire thing.
They've been talking about it, like, whatever.
Like, if it was that easy, why didn't she just kill him in the fucking ballroom thing, the dinner table, you know? Like, there would have been ways. There were 10 sisters in there or something. But yeah.
But then she dove into the water, or fell into the water. Very,
which was so cool.
Epic.
I loved that part.
Her swimming to the gate. Yeah. And I think while she was swimming to the gate,
sharks.
Aren, yes, but Aren was also dealing with the fact that they had this device or something that
like a hook that was pulling the gate. Yeah.
And they're trying to get that off. And did it open?
I think they managed to, because of where they hooked it, they managed to pull a gap in between the rods, like the ceiling, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember, but they were like,
that's how I'm imagining it, but I don't think that's correct. But they pulled a hole, basically, and that's how they were able to start getting people through.
And as they were in the process of like getting it back or something, while she was like swimming towards them, because when she got there, it was like she couldn't get through.
Yeah.
But before we even talk about that, it was the fact that she's swimming towards this gate, or at least trying to, because at this point she's spent. She's like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
She's like, I'm just basically floating.
Yeah, that's what it is. And the whole time, like, even like Anna and the people on the cliff were like screaming for her. Like, like, keep going. And they're like screaming at Aren and them, like, hold it, like, get, like, she's coming. And when she finally gets to the gate with no shark touching her, which we'll talk about that at the end.
I thought a shark did touch her, or did they just get in really close?
But they didn't. They didn't
chomp
her.
Yeah.
So when she finally gets to the gate,
oh my God,
the tears just start pouring again, because she's like holding on for dear fucking life, and he finally is like on the other side, like them just a gate,
and she tells him to let her go.
Like, she's just accepting that she's gonna die right then and there, and he's just like, nah, bitch. He's like, I'm gonna find a way, and he does
find a way. He does. Yeah. Oh my God.
Kinda.
I was just like, especially whenever, so like, I thought the way she described her drowning was like so powerful, and him just being desperate after he got her up off the surface, because like she hadn't breathed in a while, like she was gone. And like him just like screaming at her, just working as hard as he could, like, because like whenever it's those kinds of like raw emotional scenes that last for a really long time, like I always put myself in their shoes, because it's just like, what would I do if my partner was dead in front of me like that?
Dead.
Like,
yes, you're holding them dead.
Like, you couldn't stop me from trying to resuscitate. Like,
right.
Unbelievable anguish. And so I was just weeping in that part. I was like, this bitch is gone, and she's not
and the
gonna
fact
be able to come back.
That's how it happened too. Like this whole time, this girl's one weakness was not being able to swim or like water, and that's how she dies. Dies
after she had conquered so much.
Yeah. Like I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
but she didn't die.
She didn't. She did not. She did not. I just words. Sorry.
So then we have her blacking out, basically. I don't even know how she survived. Like, what happened?
I think it was just like, you know, the classic thing that we see in movies. I don't know if it's actually physically possible. Our nurse friend can tell us, Katina. But she was gone for a bit, and then I think they just kept really trying to resuscitate her, and she probably like evacuated water. And then they just let her sleep for like 3 days.
Yeah, we just know that
it's conjecture. Yeah.
Blacked out or died, basically. And then she wakes up in a bed. And she looks over, and Aren is like, was he asleep, like on the chair beside her?
I think so. Like I think he had just been there for like day in, day out.
Yeah. So she finally wakes up, and then he wakes up, and they have this conversation, and she's like, he's asking her to like stay with him. Yeah. And she was like, I can't, like, how is that even possible? Like, I can't, because your people hate me, like they'll never, whatever. And when he tells her, like, he literally asked, do you really know how we like deal with
trial
traitors?
By sharks?
Yeah. Do you know how we do the trial? And she's just like, yeah, you dangle them over sharks and the sharks eat them. Yeah. Like, yes. But the fact that, and oh my God, it's just so fucking cute, because he's like, we leave it basically up to the sharks. Like the sharks get to decide.
Because they are like, they are Ithacana.
Yeah, if you are true, then they won't touch you. Like, you deserve to be here.
Oh, I just got chills. Oh my God.
I just thought it was so brilliant. Like, the whole time she's swimming to the gate, the sharks are touching her, but not attacking her, like not eating her. And it's just like, you are their queen. Like,
oh my God, it's got so many chills. Yes.
That's what we needed. And he's just like, so you stay with me, like, be my wife, be my queen. And I'm just like, oh my God,
so
finally.
Perfect. So perfect. Yeah.
And that's how it ends, right?
Yeah.
That's basically how it ends.
And she's just like, accepted. I wanted an epilogue, but then it was just like, you're gonna get this book of the people you don't care about. And then the fourth book, like, you might get them again.
About her brother.
Yeah.
Danielle did say, the author did say, like, Lara and Aren do make appearances in the book, but they're not significant characters. But right. She said that the book after that goes back to Lara and Aren.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well then what's the point?
What's the point? I should probably just want different characters to write about.
I'm interested to see like what she's doing with the series, because it's like, okay, so if we're getting points of views from them, like Laura's brother and what's her face, Sarah, then what's gonna happen for the next book? Like, what is there? What are the roles? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, because there's got to be some sort of conflict that'll be brought up with Karis and Zara for it to push the reason to have a fourth book, you know?
Yeah.
So
I can't wait. I love these books. I love them so much.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to spend more time with these characters. And it seems to be like, I don't know, certain things seems like as it develops, I feel like Danielle Jensen is also developing like how she wants to approach these characters and the story devices as well. So I think that's cool. I'm into that.
Yeah. I can't wait. Okay, so do you have anything else to add?
No, I mean, just of the two, this is definitely my favored one, because I feel like I was just constantly feeling things in this one. Like constantly.
I get that. God. Yeah. These two books, and the thing is, we read them back to back, so it was like the first one.
We didn't even have to wait
afterwards.
Yeah,
no, and it was just like, oh my God, I was like I said, I was exhausted by the end of reading these books, but in the best way. Honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the series was my top favorite books that I've read so far.
Like ever?
I don't know if I'd say maybe. But like of this year for sure. So far.
So what would you rate this book out of 5 stars?
I would rate this one maybe like a 3 for me for this one.
Whoa, that's a big downgrade. What happened?
Yeah. I just loved the first book more. I felt like there was more. I don't know. The second book, I just didn't like most of the stuff that happened, like with the sisters and like with her killing her dad. And it was just like, I felt like the pace wasn't as good as the first book.
I get that. Yeah. I feel like I had a lot of the same issues of anticlimax in the first one, but I liked what was explored more in this one. Mm-hmm. So that's what changed it a bit for me.
So what would you rate it?
Well, the last one I rated 2.5, and I feel like this one I give it like 3.5.
Really? And this is your favorite one out of the
2?
Oh my leg!
Because they're not like my favorite books I've ever read. Mm-hmm. No, probably not for this year. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, because I do take a lot of issue with certain like pacing issues and like plot holes, kind of like where it's just like, oh, we forgot about this part.
Right.
But I still liked it, and like for anyone that might be considering or might be thinking that like I may be too hard on books or whatever. I think a 5-star book would be so hard to earn. Like, and I think it should be hard to earn. Like, I feel like I'm going to hold it to a high standard, whereas like 3 stars probably like average, or it should be, in my opinion. Whereas like 5 stars like exceptional. So that's where I'm sitting. That's where my scale sits.
I get that. Okay, so where can we find you on social platforms?
So I am at Red Ellie Gamer, which is REDELLIEGMR, and that is on Instagram and Twitch and Twitter. And you can also go to redelliegamer.com, and that's where you can find everything that I do, because I write about books and video games, and I make videos about them, and I have another podcast as well.
Yeah.
And what about you?
I can be found on Instagram at Corrine_Thorn, and on TikTok at Corrine.Thorn. And you can also find this podcast on YouTube, the video version, at Just a Thought Podcast.
Yay!
Yay!
You nailed your socials. You got it.
I know. Thank God. That was it for this podcast, where we talked about the Traitor Queen, the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to tune in for our next podcast when we talk about the Crown of Gilded Bones. I'm almost done with it. I'm getting there. I promise.
I finished it in like 2 days. I love it so much.
I made it to 60% now, so I'm like, amazing. I'm getting there.
You got this.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I know I love doing this.
Me too.
It's just so much fun talking about books with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we will see you guys in the next one. And again, this was Just a Thought.
Bye.
Outro music.